Hi, this is Pastor Kevin. Have you ever been misunderstood? Well, in John chapter 7, people do not understand who Jesus Christ is. And even though he tries to explain it to them, they still do not understand who he is. We're only going to be covering a short portion of John chapter 7 today. But in John chapter 7, Jesus is misunderstood not only by his earthly brothers, but also by his Jewish listeners. John chapter 7, verses 1 through 13, Jesus is in private. John chapter 7, verse 14 and following, Jesus is speaking publicly. John chapter 7, verses 1 to 13. After these things, Jesus walked in Galilee, for he did not want to walk in Judea, because the Jews sought to kill him. Now the Jews' feast of tabernacles was at hand. His brothers therefore said to him, "Depart from here and go into Judea, that your disciples also may see the works that you are doing. For no one does anything in secret while he himself seeks to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world." For even his brothers did not believe in him. Then Jesus said to them, "My time has not yet come, but your time is always ready. The world cannot hate you, but it hates me because I testify of it, that its works are evil. You go up to this feast. I am not yet going up to this feast, for my time has not yet fully come." When he had said these things to them, he remained in Galilee. But when his brothers had gone up, then he also went up to the feast, not openly, but as it were, in secret. Then the Jews sought him at the feast and said, "Where is he?" And there was much complaining about the people concerning him. Some said, "He is good." Others said, "No, on the contrary, he deceives the people." However, no one spoke openly of him, for fear of the Jews. Jesus is misunderstood, even if it's in private. He receives a challenge from his own brothers about the publicity that they think that he needs. John chapter 6, verse 66, from that time many of his disciples went back and walked with him no more. We talked about that just a little while ago. And so there are some people who have been following after Jesus at a distance who have decided to retreat from him. And maybe the brothers are saying, "Hey, you're losing your popularity. You need to get it back by doing something spectacular. Let everyone know that you're really here." It may be that it simply is because, verse 2, now the Jews' feast of the tabernacles was at hand. This is a feast that everyone loves to gather to Jerusalem. It's the most joyous of the feasts. Maybe they were just simply taking advantage of this opportunity. But they basically tell him, "You need to get out of here. You need to get down to Jerusalem. Depart from here and go into Judea, that your disciples also may see the works that you are doing." It's important for them to see what's happening. For no one does anything in secret while he himself seeks to be known openly. You're doing things in the corner, Jesus. You need to do things publicly. Jerusalem is a great time. The Feast of Tabernacles is a great time. If you do these things, show yourself to the world. But there's this caveat in verse 5 that John includes, for even his brothers did not believe in him. Now, after Jesus is raised from the dead, then his brothers do believe in him. But at this point in time, they do not. And because they do not, they're not really encouraging him from godly motives. Instead, they're actually encouraging him from selfish motives. Either way, the challenge from Jesus' brothers is about his publicity. You need to do things so that other people can see you, but it also is about the timing. Their idea is do it now. Do it now. Get on down to Jerusalem during the Feast of the Tabernacles and publicly proclaim yourself. Announce what's going on. Do it right now. And Jesus says to them in John 7, verse 6, "My time has not yet come, but your time is always ready. Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 1, to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. But what is happening is the brothers want it on their time, and Jesus wants it on God's time. D.A. Carson in his commentary talks about it this way. It is almost as if they are being excluded from divine sovereignty. Not that God suspended his providential reign in their case, but that what they did was utterly without significance as far as God is concerned. And just a little bit later, D.A. Carson goes on to say, so let the brothers go to the feast whenever they will. Their decision is without significance. But Jesus, whose itinerary is regulated by the Father, must at this point decline. Jesus says, go on up to the feast. It's not time for me to come yet. There's the challenge from Jesus' brothers. But there's also the conflict among Jesus' hearers. John chapter 7 and verse 10, but when his brothers had gone up, then he also went up to the feast, not openly, but as it were in secret. He does go to the feast, but he isn't going publicly. Instead, he's going at his own time, really under God's time. D.A. Carson again. Because his life is regulated by his heavenly Father's appointments, he is not going to the feast when they say he should. The counsel of the wicked cannot be permitted to set his agenda. But he does go to Jerusalem. Then the Jews sought him at the feast and said, where is he? And there was much complaining about the people concerning him. It's interesting that they use the word complaining here, that John uses the word complaining in this context, because what did Israel do in the wilderness when Moses was providing for them? Complaining. John may be picking up on that. There was much complaining among the people concerning him. Some said he is good. Others said, no, on the contrary, he deceives the people. However, no one spoke openly of him for fear of the Jews. Now, the phrase fear of the Jews refers to fear of the religious leaders, the people who were in charge of the temple grounds. What's the conflict? Some people say that his character is good. Some people say that his character is that of a Messiah. Others say, no, they're going to question his integrity. He's one who deceives. He's one who causes people to go off on the wrong path. Jesus' brothers don't understand Jesus. Jesus' hearers don't understand Jesus either. Jesus is misunderstood. But the real reason why Jesus is misunderstood? 2 Corinthians 4, verses 3 and 4. But even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing, whose minds the God of this age has blinded, who do not believe, lest the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine on them. Please know that in this verse, what Paul is teaching is the fact that when people misunderstand Jesus, when they choose not to believe in him, it is Satan hard at work to blind them, whose minds the God of this age has blinded, who do not believe. Jesus is misunderstood because Satan doesn't want Jesus to be understood. Satan is hard at work against Jesus. Father, may we proclaim who Jesus Christ is. He is who he says he is. He is the eternal Son of God. And he came to be the Lamb who takes away the sin of the world. Father, thank you that we understand. Help us to let others understand as well. Remember, Jesus being misunderstood means Satan is at work. We need to proclaim the truth about Jesus Christ.